Hello everybody, Dominomial here, and welcome back to Celeste. In this episode, we'll be climbing the B side of the summit. So let's get into it. I mean, it's not going to be that bad, will it? Let's hope not, but this will take up the entire episode. Whether the episode is long or short. And I already died, but you kind of expected that from this game. Jeez, I actually have to concentrate a little bit on this. So, where should I start? So, for the past couple of days, I haven't been uploading. I kind of took a small break with Celeste now that I beat the game, or, well, got to the credits anyway. But the reason why that is because I've been feeling kind of uninspired. What I mean by that is that I don't really know what to say or what to do to make my videos interesting. And, well, it also doesn't help that I know that nobody is watching my video right now, Celeste series anyway. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to expect anybody to watch my videos right away. But I mean, the fact that nobody is watching does kind of, like, demotivate me a little bit. I still want to do this. This is still really fun to, like, it's still fun to record and do commentary and stuff. But doing solo commentary, especially on a game like this, is really challenging. I'm sure you can understand why, because this game really doesn't hold back when it comes to difficulty. But, I mean, I have done the other B-sides of this game pretty easily. So what's one more? It's once we start getting to the the C-sides when the game starts getting really, not unfair, but super challenging. Extremely difficult. Sorry, I needed to concentrate a little bit there. I forgot how kind of scary some of these dash jumps were in the B side of the summit. I remember the C side of the summit very clearly because who could forget that level? But I don't remember the B side all too much. And computer pop-ups keep on happening, and I wish well, I can probably figure out a way to block them. I just keep forgetting to, and then I keep getting notifications in my ear while playing this game. But whatever. It's not that bad. It's just a bit frustrating. Oh, right, this song. I don't know what I was gonna say about it, honestly. I had something in mind, but I don't remember. Ah, that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh, and then I'm supposed to climb on that one and such. Yeah, this level is kind of scary. so that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to stand on top of the platform once it's reeling back in on the top. I think so, anyway. If so, that is kind of tight. But it's still pretty doable. So it wants me to use momentum. Okay, okay. So, at the end of last episode, I was talking about a new campaign that my friend was planning on starting up. And wow, that was actually surprisingly easy. I was talking about a new tabletop campaign that my friend was planning on starting up. And I don't know when the date for that is supposed to happen, or yeah, I don't know when that's supposed to happen. But I did say that, wow, speaking of friends, one of them just, okay, whatever. Anyway, I really should turn off Discord notifications when recording, because for some reason everybody starts talking once I start recording. Whatever. That's none of your business. That's nothing I really need to talk about. Ah, right, this part. So, I don't know how far I got into it, but just to recap, the friend that's doing the Cyberpunk campaign that I've been talking about during Xenoblade and like a little bit during Mario Galaxy, they've been thinking of starting up another campaign. And well, they're deciding between two tabletop games. One is called Numenera, which is basically takes place billions of years in the future, and the whole gimmick is, or the whole idea is that like the world collapsed like 9 separate times, or something like that, something like to that nature. And so it takes place in like a post-apocalyptic, medieval kind of world, I guess, where ancient relics include technology, such as computers or bombs or like armor. Well, I don't know how armor counts as like as technology, but honestly, the game has like some weird like kinks to it that aren't really too fun. Like the fact that all the artifacts aren't really too creative in the first place. So my friend was thinking, well, okay, let's just make the artifact system more interesting by including cyberpunk technology within the world of Numenera as ancient artifacts. Because, as we all know, cyberpunk has some pretty cool technology. That took me way too long to explain. Oh, shoot. No. Okay, I can do this part. What do they want me to do there? They just want me to do that. So that's like the whole gimmick of Numenera. Basically how I imagine it is kind of like Gurren Lagann if it also had more medieval like more medieval themes to it. And that's just the anime fanboy inside me speaking. I know it's just a medieval world. A normal fantasy medieval world with some post-apocalyptic twists. Not too big of a deal, but I think that world has a whole lot of potential, especially if my friend decides to incorporate cyberpunk elements into it. I mean, that would be pretty cool, right? Just like having technology from cyberpunk, a campaign that you're playing, and then have it appear in another campaign in a completely different context. So yeah, that sounds kind of cool, right? But the other campaign that my friend was thinking of doing is called Nephilim, or the game is called Nephilim. And essentially the whole idea of Nephilim is that you're basically, like, not gods per se, but more like ancient beings that are essentially immortal. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But since you're immortal, the death system is very unique, as in, you don't really die. It's kind of difficult to permanently die in that game. I mean, I think there is one way to permanently die in that game, but even then, it's pretty rare. Like, basically you need to get hit by the equivalent of kryptonite to die. And that's only if you sustain enough damage where you actually, like, you know, die. But you play as these ancient beings that are basically immortal. And since they can't die, when they quote-unquote... Okay. Since they can't die, the whole, like, idea is that they possess human hosts, and that, well, the whole idea is that they possess hosts, like a parasite. And with that being said, if the host dies, then they'll return to a crystallized state, where they can't do anything and they need to recover for centuries, possibly. Maybe even for at least decades, possibly centuries. So they just live throughout like eras of time. Which, yeah, it's kind of unique. And so basically the whole idea of the campaign is like, it's obviously going to be a party-based campaign where me and my friends work together as a party to achieve evolution or Agartha or whatever it is in that game, where basically you reach max level and you become completely immortal. That's the whole goal of the game. You're trying to become immortal and survive, I guess. Something like that. Sorry, I just needed to focus there. So, before we get into like a party though, for that campaign, before we get into a party for that campaign, everybody needs to have their own solo session within their own respective time, like eras that they chose to have their backstory take place in. I haven't decided on mine yet because we haven't even decided on like which game we're doing, which I want to know before I decide to make a character. But the whole idea is that our campaign, after we do our each era for our own respective backstories and solo sessions, the whole idea is that everybody will basically have the campaign take place in the 90s. And unfortunately, I'm not very good at finding 90s music, so I'm not going to be of much help when it comes to that for the campaign. I can't really find good music for the jukebox, unfortunately. But I'm sure somebody else will be able to handle it. Ah, shoot. But if one of us dies in that campaign, we'll have to get reincarnated because the people we're playing as are immortal, the beings. But, of course, they take a little while to regenerate, and they're not going to be in quite the same era once they revive. So after they die in the 90s, my friend is thinking, well, how about they revive in the cyberpunk world? Specifically during when our campaign takes place. It's really cool, actually. Like, the reason why my friend thought of this idea is because I just joked, like, hey, since the events of the real world are canon in Cyberpunk and in Numenera, what if they somehow correlate to Cyberpunk? And lo and behold, he actually took that suggestion seriously and decided, yeah, let's connect both Cyberpunk and Numenera and Nephilim together. Or, like, Numenera and Cyberpunk, or Nephilim and Cyberpunk, depending on which one we choose at the end of the day. And the idea of having a being that possesses magical powers, yes, they possess magical powers like all immortal beings do. And they're represented by elements. They would be pretty overpowered in the cyberpunk world. But that also means that if Nephilim and cyberpunk connect, that also leads to a lot of potential with the plot, and even more dangerous villains than the one we're currently facing in Cyberpunk. Wow, that was surprisingly simple. Wow, cycles. So if that happens, if one of us dies in Nephilim if we choose that campaign, the Cyberpunk campaign is also going to go completely off the rails. And honestly, I'm all there for it. Like I said before in my solo episode of Xenoblade, episode 5, I said that I was feeling kind of dissatisfied with the campaign because the world felt, like, really unfair. Just, like, from a player's perspective. And, well, okay. And it still kinda is. It's still kinda unfair. Especially with my friend, the Game Master, just essentially having my character and another one play as the main roles as protagonists. Because nobody else decided to completely fill in their backstory, because they were either feeling uninspired or they just didn't want to fill in a backstory. So he's working with our characters the most. In case you're wondering, or if you need a recap, my character in Cyberpunk is a girl that's trying to hide her, well, identity by wearing a mask. Specifically her gender, because like, you know, some certain things happen with her mother, and she doesn't trust men anymore. Or, well, she doesn't trust people anymore. And so that's why she wears the mask, so that nobody can really find her identity. And I also put a lot more detail into that backstory, like, such as having a friend that's also, like, that got her into, like, hacking in the first place. And I already said this, like, 2 episodes ago, but my character is essentially inspired off of, like, Futaba, basically, from Persona 5. Wow, that was kind of scary. So yeah, my character is basically Futaba from Persona 5, which, Futaba, except without, like, the whole social anxiety thing, that kinda brings her character down a little bit, if you ask me. What am I supposed to do there? Shoot. The wave dash didn't work. So, yeah. Okay. Whoa. Whoa! That was a little bit scary. Oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I should keep talking about my Cyberpunk character, or if I should just kind of completely ignore that I said anything about it. But yeah, Cyberpunk is fun. I like being able to develop a character, and even though they're playing the main role, and I'm stressed the hell out of it by it, or they're essentially playing a lead role. They're not playing a side role like some of the other party members. Even though I'm stressed out by playing a more proactive role in the campaign, I do like being a main character, because one interesting dynamic that I feel like, one interesting dynamic between, like, me and the Game Master is that he's willing to take story suggestions for, like, what would happen in Cyberpunk, like, within the campaign. Like, sometimes I just come up with an idea, and he's like, yeah, that'll work. I'll somehow implement that in, because it sounds very interesting. And should a player be writing the story? No. Probably not. Definitely not, in fact. But it does feel like I'm playing some kind of impromptu, like, theater game with the Game Master. Like, hey, take this idea. And then he's like, yeah, sure. How about we do this? And I'm like, yeah, that'll work. How did that not grab me? wish I could play improv games. I don't have anybody to play them with, and, well, the whole state of the world has basically guaranteed that I won't be able to do anything about it this summer. I didn't mean to do a downward dash there. Why do I keep doing a downward dash? Okay. Okay. I don't know how I survived that. I really shouldn't have. This is kind of the reason why I love Chapter 5, B-side and C-side, because the platforming here is so precise. The red bubbles are a really fun gimmick. I love the red bubbles. It makes you feel like you're playing a Donkey Kong Country game on steroids. Well, I don't know if I should bleep that word out, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's not like I'm rating this video for kids. None of my videos are for kids. Not even my early Super Mario Galaxy videos where I didn't swear for the first 4 episodes, and then suddenly I dropped an F-bomb in the 5th episode. It's not like I was trying to give off an impression that, like, I was all child-friendly and all with those first 4 episodes. It's just I didn't really have any need to swear within the first few episodes to make a bad impression on my first Let's Play on YouTube. Okay, this is a little bit difficult. Not gonna lie. The B-sides are starting to ramp up in difficulty just a little bit. Especially when this one implements all the gimmicks from all the levels, but with 2 dashes, which means you have to do even more crazy stuff. And for some reason, I just can't get that dash right. Ooh. That wasn't too bad. That almost killed me, but... Okay. Don't tell me I have... Oh, shoot, I have to start all the way back from the beginning. Now, this is like late game Super Meat Boy levels of difficulty. Ha! Nice, a misinput turned into another misinput. Huh. Okay, so I'm supposed to use that as kind of like a launch pad. I get it now. hate misinputting. This is longer than all the B-side videos I've had so far, so hope you enjoy this, but we're getting pretty close to the end. We only have 2 more sections to go through before we're done. And we're already near the end of this one. Upwards dash, and there, finally got it. Let's take a sip of water. Wow. Oh, really? We're going straight into, we're going straight into this part? Was there a Chapter 6 part? I can't remember. Okay. Okay. That was relatively simple. Okay. This downward wind really does make things kind of difficult, just saying. But I realize that's also the point. Now I understand why nobody's watching this Let's Play. My commentary is just boring. Okay, well, I mean... My commentary is boring, and if they wanted to watch for the gameplay, they would watch a speedrun. And also, my channel isn't popular enough, so I can't even really determine whether I'm good at making videos or not. Probably the latter. But that's just my self-deprecating sense of humor talking, so who knows? Oh, right. For the absolute 0 of you watching this video as it airs, Xenoblade is coming back. I don't know if the next video is up by the time this video will be uploaded, but it's definitely coming back. I'm recording with Max tomorrow. So that's the good news of the day. Also, the wind is blowing up now. Right. I remember how awful, I remember how bad the Seaside Summit is, because this is the exact pair of gimmicks that they use for a Seaside Summit. Precise movement with clouds. Nice, checkpoint. Shoot. So while while I was on the topic of campaigns and like storytelling, I know a couple episodes ago I was talking about how I really wanted to get back into reading books. I love reading. I just need to find a book that I like, and I think I'll be able to get back into it. Because honestly, I really love just sitting down and reading a book. I know it's probably kind of cliche to hear me say that, but what can I say? I just love reading books. And I prefer books over movies. Or, like, if I had to compare books and movies, usually the books are better, I feel. But, I mean, that's what everybody says. But one, like, I really love reading stories, but I also really like writing stories. Like, that's why I love role-playing so much. Or, like, role-playing games. Wow, that was kind of scary, not gonna lie. But I really love role-playing because of the story element to them. One of the things I value most in an RPG is story. That's why, well, that's why I think Super Paper Mario is better than TTYD, and, like, yes, I also love dialogue. Dialogue is also an important factor in determining my likeness for a game. But story is something I really value in a game. And while it may not seem like it since I'm playing a platforming game with a very light, heartwarming story, but it's not like Oscar. It's not Oscar-worthy by any means. It's just a sweet little story. Oddly enough, though, I've never really gotten into the Final Fantasy games, though. I played a little bit of 6. I never finished it, but I think I got about halfway through. I think I would like Final Fantasy 6 because I like most of the characters. I haven't played Final Fantasy 7, and I don't plan on doing that. Final Fantasy 7 is popular enough to where the contrarian side of me is just like, I don't want to play Final Fantasy 7, even though it's probably a pretty good game. Whew. Okay. Oh, right, this is where they teach you that you can wall slide. So, funny story about this. You know how the bird has that tutorial that teaches you how to wall slide? And it's pretty obvious how to do that. When this game first came out, it didn't have that. It just had the prompt L up plus B. That meant nothing when I was first playing this game. I got stuck on this part for about an hour, not kidding, because I didn't know how to do that. And, yeah, thankfully they fixed that in a later patch of this game, which I didn't even know, but still. That was quite frustrating. So, luckily, like, honestly, I didn't know that prompt was there. If that prompt wasn't there, I would have just complained to hell about that whole situation, because that was a moment of very bad game design by the developers. Because up plus B means absolutely nothing when you want somebody to wall slide like that. Oh yeah, and wall sliding. That's a technique that I've been using for quite a while. I mean, I've been using it since the beginning of this game, but only for very specific circumstances. They wanted me to wall slide there, but wave dashing also works just fine. Wave dashing works too. I don't need to wall slide. Oh, no, no, don't kill me, Spikes. Right. I was talking about storytelling and role-playing, but then I never actually finished what I was trying to say. So yes, I love stories in games, and that's why RPGs are one of my favorite genres, because even though I'm kinda worn out on them right now, like, honestly, I don't even really feel like playing another RPG, but I know that I'm going to have to for Paper Mario. And don't get me wrong, I love Paper Mario. I even like new Paper Mario, except Sticker Star. Sticker Star still is absolute shit, but Color Splash was actually a really good game. Even though the battle system was flawed, I'll give you that. The dialogue, the humor, and like the presentation was so charming and fun, and like Huey is the best partner of all time. I know them's fighting words for all of those Goombella fans out there, but Huey's the best partner because he gets the most dialogue. It's as simple as that. It's not really the fault of the Thousand Year Door, it's just by nature of Color Splash where there's only one partner. And I know I'm going to have to play Origami King because, honestly, I can't just not play Origami King. So, yeah, I'm going to play Origami King once it comes out. And I think I'll enjoy it. I like the idea of a puzzle-based combat system, and, like, yeah, the story is good and all. Is that it? No, but, like, seriously, where do I need to go? Isn't there supposed to be a heart? No, but, like... Oh, the heart's down here. I'm stupid. That was amazing! I can't believe we did that! Nothing can stop us! You're scaring me right now. Ooh. Slay the Spire. Sorry, but how? Okay, I just need to time this. No! No! I'm gonna be stuck on this part for a while, aren't I? Okay, well, okay. I can keep talking. I got sidetracked by Paper Mario, as always. But besides, like, the story and role-playing games, I also like creating stories. Yeah. That's kinda what I was trying to get at. 46 minutes. Well, I'll talk more about what I was trying to get at in the next episode. We won't be doing a stressful B-side. Instead, we'll be starting the core. So, next episode, yeah, we'll be starting the core. And, well, we'll be nearing the second half of the game. Woo. The second half. The hard half. The difficult half. The half that makes you want to die after several hours. As if this game hasn't killed you enough. But we'll just keep on going. So, without further ado, see you next episode.